Hi guys, welcome back to the Salon Talks series. I am super excited to welcome you guys back. It's been a little minute, it's been a while, but we have so much in store. So, first and foremost, happy Women's History Month. Clap it up to that. So we are going to be diving right in. First and foremost, my name is Kadeisha Placide, and I am the founder of Women Empower Collective, which is a wellness-based community just meant for women of high impact, high achieving women to unwind, fulfill, and find joy and purpose within community. So you guys know that the salon is a hub for all things. We congregate traditionally in the salon. We let our hair down figuratively and literally, so today is no different. And we are gonna be joined by our amazing co-star, and she is a founder, she is a creative, and she is a wellness professional. So I'm gonna just let her introduce herself.
Yeah, that was amazing. My name is Shaina McGregor. As Kadeisha said, I am the founder of Inward Space, a wellness community based here in New York City. I am also a professional dancer and a life coach. And I am excited to be here. It feels good to be back in the salon and chat it up. So let's get to it.
Yes, okay. So before we even start, I want to do a quick icebreaker.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So I want you to just think about, and we don't do this enough, but just a rose, a win, and a thorn. Just a challenge that you've probably would say that you've been facing since the new year.
Okay, I love that. Well, what I didn't mention is that I actually am in graduate school, so I'm getting a master's in social work.
Oh,
so I would say a rose is I had my first therapy client last week. So I was really excited about that. No, it was huge. And the internship that I'm at is a trauma-focused internship, so I was interning as a trauma therapist, and it was a big deal, and it went well. I was a little nervous going into it, but afterwards I was like, yeah, I made the right choice.
Yes.
And then a thorn, I am balancing a lot of things right now. So the challenge sometimes is practicing what I preach. You know, I preach for folks to...
That's important.
Right? To slow down and to take care of themselves. And sometimes I do find myself jumping from thing to thing. And it's just pausing. Even if it's 5 minutes and doing a quick grounding exercise and noticing where I am and taking care of myself. So trying to find more moments to do that.
Love that, love that. And I believe just as a great leader, especially someone that is in the wellness space, we literally do have to practice that. And that is something ongoing and very intentional that we have to carve out, because if we're not good, we can't produce great work and we can't be great leaders as well. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I love how you said to carve out, because you have to make time for it.
You have to.
Or other things are always going to get in the way, and you're just going to keep going from task to task.
Exactly.
Until you're like, no, I need to slow down. I need to pause.
Exactly.
And that could wait. It's not as urgent as I think it is.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for just those of you that is not familiar with Shaina, right? I want to know all about you.
Okay.
Right? So what is your story starting from the beginning? Who were you growing up as a little girl? Give me that scoop.
I love this. How far back are we going?
As far back as you can. What basically shaped the Shaina today?
Right. Oh, I love this question. So I'm a Brooklyn girl, born and raised in Brooklyn, but I'm also proud to be born to Jamaican parents. And what has shaped me, it's funny, looking at me, people don't always notice that I'm on the shortest side, and I've always been...
Short but powerful.
Okay, one of the shortest people in the room, but I never felt that way. And I think that's because my mom was constantly talking to me, constantly asking me questions. And now I find myself to be very curious and introspective, and I think that's exactly where it comes from. She was asking me about how my day was, how was school, and inviting my response, holding space for that. My mom is also a master social worker, so it might have been a little bit of that, but I think that shaped who I was. And even from a young age, I balanced different things. I was on the swim team, I danced, I was in school, I took AP classes, so I think...
Your mom did a great job.
Oh yeah, she didn't play. She did not play, and my dad was always just like, yep, yeah, whatever, I don't play either. But I think from then I was balancing many things.
Yes.
So now when I look at the things that I'm doing now, it's not out of the ordinary. It's young Shaina who was always curious and interested and expressive.
And got invited to be curious as well, just by your parents.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the biggest things that sets my journey apart when I look back, is that was welcome and I was invited. Yeah.
I love that. And I always say, like, where we are now and our journeys now, they're like, they're the big picture, right, of all the small baby steps that happened in the past. You know, all the things in our childhood that we probably once even thought was like a terrible thing, you know?
Yes.
They shape exactly who we are now.
No, yeah, my mom tells me, and this is so rude, but when my mom took me to my first dance class, I was 4 years old, and I told her, didn't I tell you I didn't want to come here? Ooh,
oh my gosh.
I know. A little wild. I said, what? And she was like, just try it out.
Yeah.
But that just showed you, one, how accepted I felt to express myself. And also that she was like, I hear you, but you're going to stay in this.
Yeah, you're going to commit to it.
And I still dance to this day, and I'm a professional dancer. So I'm so grateful that she was like, stick it out. But also, that wasn't met with vitriol. It was like, okay, you're very expressive.
Yeah.
Try it. But I think that just showed from a young age. I was like, I was questioning things.
Yeah. Wow. I love that your mom made you commit to it, you know?
She did. She was not playing about committing to things. Like, I learned discipline and hard work from a young age. She was like, try things out.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we are in the age where I feel like a lot of us are multi-hyphenated, right? So we're doing amazing things. You know, I won't say all the things, but we're doing amazing, great things.
Things that we're passionate about.
Yes. And we can, you know, maybe our parents didn't have that opportunity, but we can, you know? So I know you mentioned dance. So what is that?
Yes.
You dance, like you tell me more about the dance in your life and how that's incorporated into today.
Right. So I went to LaGuardia High School. I majored in dance. I also got my BFA in dance. I went to Ailey Fordham, which is a joint program with Fordham University and also Alvin Ailey. And Alvin Ailey has such cultural roots in the United States and in New York. And I'm very fortunate to still work there today. So after college, I was like, I want to still dance. And I had to reimagine my version of success within dance. But I danced with many freelance companies, and I never thought I wanted to teach and choreograph. And sometimes even the things we don't think we want to do, we end up doing. And it's just about being open to it and being like, okay, well, this is what's happening right now. So currently, I teach twice a week at the Ailey Extension, and Mr. Ailey said that dance is for the people and should always be delivered back to the people. So I teach open classes to adults. So if you want to come and take class, you can. I teach contemporary, and I teach beginner, I teach a range of levels, and it's really heartwarming to see people get connected with their bodies and to move and to feel and to be in community with one another. Yeah, I don't take it lightly.
I love that. And I love that dance, for me, like movement in general has been so like tightly knitted to like my wellness journey, I would say. And it does allow us to have some sense of like play when we move.
Absolutely,
you know, which is like
I'm
so
thinking
important.
about play a lot. Yes. I love that you brought that up. I think so. And connecting to our imagination. I think as children we have such vivid imaginations and we love to play, and then somewhere along the line
it kind of gets lost.
It kind of shrinks and it gets lost, and you know, movement brings us back to that.
It allows us to release as well. Like, it's such a great release, especially as someone that just professionally you are always on go or sometimes on autopilot. So movement does help to like decompress, especially for me at the end of, I like to do it at the end of the day. Some people like to do it at the beginning.
Right, no, absolutely. Like my Tuesday nights, I have classes at 7 and I'm like, you're gonna leave here, you're not even gonna think about your day. Right now, in this moment, this hour and a half, it is for you.
It's for
it
you.
Is to
No
feel.
phone.
No phones. It's to feel, it's to unwind. We're carrying a lot. And that tension lives in our bodies, and it's so important to release. And I think it helps us to get connected to ourselves as well. Because as we get older, we also become a little disconnected sometimes. And movement really helps you to do that.
Exactly. I completely agree. So I do have a question.
Okay, shoot.
Okay. So I know that we speak about movement, and today, yes, movement, wellness, and all the great things are so helpful as founders and as like people that are making impacts, but we can't ignore that in today's society, a major thing is like AI and tech, right? So that is like a leading force, I would say. And we do have to cultivate and carve out those moments to be grounded, right? We know that. But my question for you is, Do you think that AI wellness performance risks replacing human beings? Or are they actually expanding access to support?
Oof,
So is it essentially swapping out humans or the need for human interaction?
It never can. It can't. It can't. Does AI increase accessibility? Absolutely, especially in a post-lockdown world. Before, we weren't necessarily doing classes virtually. Now, my classes at the LA Extension are just in the studio, but there are a ton of classes that are offered online, and that's incredible. So people can dance with us all around the world, even beyond movement. The telehealth wasn't as much of a thing during 2020 or before. It existed, but after 2020, we realized, wow, we can make telehealth more accessible. So I think it's important, but can it ever replace human beings? No. We're breathing people's hearts with feelings, and it can't replace us. It can make things more accessible and spread more information, but it can't replace a human. It's nothing like this, talking to someone
I agree.
and moving with someone in the space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And for us, and I would love for you to go into talking about the inward, your other endeavor.
Yes.
We hold space for others through real life connections,
Right.
through curated events,
Right.
you know? So that for me is like so irreplaceable.
There's
so
nothing like
needed.
it. Yes.
So needed.
Yeah.
And
People are craving it.
they are. Exactly. And I would say it's a need for it, even though we do realize that a lot of us need the intentional part when it comes to like networking, right?
Yes.
When you're in a space, sometimes because we've been isolated for so long,
Yeah, people have social anxiety
it
sometimes.
causes anxiety.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do try for like as far as Women in Power when we host events, to just be intentional about the networking. A lot of the events that we do are very intimate.
Yes.
Very intimate. We do have a lot of opportunity for people to actually connect, just very organically,
Right.
you know. But I do know that when we have larger events, though sometimes people do suffer with just anxieties being in large crowds and being
Right.
around people that they don't know.
Right.
A lot of people are coming by themselves as well,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice.
Right,
'cause
it's very courageous to come by yourself, but it takes a lot of courage to go up to a new person. Because we're always wondering how we're being perceived and all of the things, yeah.
Yes. So, but yes, I could completely agree in this case because even though it can be anxiety ridden, it's needed and necessary. People show up constantly to these events, you know, so we know that we're doing something right. So can you talk to me a little bit about what you do with your other business
Yes.
that is more on the community building aspect?
Yeah, so Inward Space is a wellness community based in New York. We have virtual, we also have in person. And I created Inward Space to allow folks to slow down. As you mentioned, we're carrying so much and it's so easy to keep going, and we're moving so quickly that we're building stress. We're becoming away from ourselves. So I created Inward Space to do events to help people to slow down, but also to live life with joy and intention, because both can coexist, and also to connect with themselves and other people. So at my events, you might experience breath work, which is such a powerful way to connect with yourself. But during that same event, we have conversations where you're talking to someone else. And that's why I say AI can't replace that. Now, you might have found out about my event online. I have so many people who are like, oh, I came across your TikTok, I came across your Instagram, and that's wonderful. So it helps me to spread the message, but nothing's like the magic of the in-person experience. And even as you talk about, it's funny about scaling.
Yeah.
I remember my last event was a bit smaller, and I think as a founder, you're always aware of the metrics and the amount of people. And one of my guests who's been to multiple of my events was like, I actually preferred it because the intimacy helped me to really connect with the people. Then when it was a bit larger, sometimes people start to section off naturally. And you don't feel as comfortable going up to someone. So there's space for both. And I think, and that's what happens when you listen to a community. And afterwards, ask them like, how was it? How'd you feel? Yeah.
You love that. So we do speak about, and I know oftentimes a lot of people, because it's so new still and it's growing, people get a little bit, you know, anxious about the rise of AI. But we also have to highlight, like we were saying, the benefits of it, or like the accessibility part of it, you know? So what are some things that you believe that AI is doing right?
It's definitely helping to synthesize sometimes our thoughts and to clarify. And I think sometimes as founders, we have so many things going on that it's nice to have a tool that helps you to make sense of the chaos in your brain. And then beyond that, like you said, making things more accessible and being like, okay, this is my thought, this is my idea, how can I spread it to the masses in a way that makes sense? And I think with that, you just have to have integrity to make sure that your values are matching your actions and you're not compromising people's data or you're not sharing misinformation.
That part, we got to be responsible with it.
You have to be responsible.
It is a lot of information at one time.
Yes, and I think that's the biggest part of it, is be responsible as both the consumer and also as a founder. Now, as a consumer, be mindful to not become over-dependent on it and know its limits and its boundaries, because that's when it can get a bit risky and harmful.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even notice, because I do use AI on a day-to-day for work, right? Because it does help. It is very accessible.
It helps. It does help.
Something that would have taken you maybe like a week can literally be condensed for like 3 days, you know? So it really helps to save on your time.
Absolutely. And I use it as a starting board. Don't use it as the end product. Because I think a lot of times people are using AI now and we can tell.
Absolutely.
So I think use it to put your information, put your data, or some of your thoughts, not data, some of your thoughts into it. And then from there, make it your own. Make it authentic. Don't let that be, oh, I got it, let me copy and paste. Because we could tell.
I agree.
You lose your voice. And then all businesses are going to start to sound the same.
That is a great point. But I also think that you do lose the art of just genuinely writing, you know, as well. Or not just writing. At the core of it, just thinking for yourself. You know, we can lose that art that
and
we've
trusting
learned.
your thoughts. And trusting that they're enough. Because now I think we're aiming for perfection. So AI is able to say things sometimes in a way you're like, ooh, I couldn't say that myself. Maybe you can if you just give yourself more time. And I think about the younger generation a lot, because at least now we're using it once our prefrontal cortexes have been developed. But folks are using it and they're not able to think critically before they even use a tool, and that's what's a little scary.
That is very true. So I do think that the educators right now, and just like the programs that we have in the education system, they definitely need to be so mindful of that.
Absolutely.
You know, as educators.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree. So talking about all this great AI and tech information, we are actually going to be announcing very soon, just full-fledged, our theme for this year's event.
Woo!
So super excited to just basically talk about our upcoming Run the World Expo, which is happening and is quickly approaching. We are tunneled all the way into like planning right now. So that is on the horizon, and that's happening June 22nd through 27th. So
it's so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I know you attended last year.
I did.
So we definitely, you know, we're going to work on a bigger and better, even like way to have you involved for this year.
Yes.
So yes. But this year is going to be our 5th year, and it's going to be a week long. Right? So
bigger, better. We're evolving.
yes, evolution, literally. So we thought that it will be like super fitting to actually talk about the future of wellness. So we do have an emphasis with our themes on AI, technology, and innovation, you know. So of course, in the vein of us just talking about AI and technology and all of that great stuff, I would love to know, how do you personally stay grounded while working across both digital and in-person spaces? So yes. We know that is where the world is headed. But for you, as a person, as someone who is in the wellness space, as more of like a mental health clinician, I would say, how do you stay grounded in the space?
That's such a good question. And we were talking before this about when you are in a people-facing role, even when you enjoy speaking to people, it can still be tiring. Like sometimes I'll finish my classes or you're finishing clients and you're like, I'm mentally exhausted. So it's really, for me, practicing mindfulness, and sometimes I'll have a grounding exercise of simply noticing, okay, where are my feet? Where am I right now? Because my brain can keep going. Sometimes it may be getting tactile, of just placing a hand on my body to create that connection, and then deeply breathing. I'm a big proponent. I mean, I teach breath work, so I also...
How important is breath work? Talking about that.
I'm pausing because it's so important. It's one of the things that we do all the time unconsciously. But sometimes we're so accustomed to taking shallow breaths. And you may notice that you're feeling anxious, you're feeling overwhelmed, your heart is racing, and breath work helps to ground you. And it's something you always have access to.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you're sharing tools and coping mechanisms with people, you may not have access to your playlist at a moment. You may not be able to call a friend, but what you can do is breathe.
Absolutely.
So I love reminding people of that, but also myself. So even today before I had a client session, I just took a minute to breathe deeply because I could notice my heart was racing. I was thinking about all the things I had to do, and I was like, just breathe. Just
And I
breathe.
imagine that having those type of client sessions, you have to also have space and capacity to actually take on a client that
Right.
is also probably going through like a lot of real life things.
Right,
you know?
absolutely. And my stuff is not theirs in that moment. So I have
So
to
you have to really ground.
okay, you guys like, okay, let me fully be present and be a human. You know, you want to be a robot,
Yeah.
but it's about them in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Okay. So, as mentioned, like that is what we're going to be talking about for this year's Run the World Expo. Just in general, people can like really feel like our intentions is for people to feel the impacts, both like on a level that is very like mindful, you know, like trying to be careful of like where things are heading and being responsible with
Right.
AI and tech, but then also knowing how to use it to the best of our ability.
Right.
You know,
'Cause
we have to
we're gonna be
also
using it,
we're
yeah.
going to be using it, so let's use it responsibly, but also
Right.
use it maximally as well.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So yes. So before we close out,
Okay.
I do want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
And that is, what are 3 non-negotiables for protecting your mental health and creativity while leading and building community?
Ooh, that's a great question. One, movement. I don't play about my movement for myself, which has been a practice that I've had to really develop, especially when I teach. It's not just about what I do for the students in that moment, but it's also carving out time to move on my own. So movement. And the second thing would actually be positive self-talk and self-compassion. I have to be mindful of the way I talk to myself and the things I say to myself and offering myself that grace. And then lastly, I think is going back to those deep breaths and feeling grounded in that.
That's I heard someone say that breathing is like our way of connecting with the world, you know, around us. And we all do it, but sometimes we don't breathe properly, right? We're not breathing and taking full breaths. We are literally taking just small breaths, and that is what I know for me at least causes anxiety. So if I'm anxious, I'm not breathing properly.
No,
you know?
yeah, we're breathing from our chest. We're not actually breathing from our diaphragms. And I love just having people put their hands on their stomach and like take a big breath and notice the difference. And they're like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
So I would love for you to close this out. Before we close out,
Okay.
just guide us on one deep breath.
You read my mind because I wanted to do it anyway, and I was like, let me see. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Well, often I would have people just flutter their eyes closed. If you feel comfortable, you could place hands on your belly. You could place hands on your thighs. But if your hands are on your belly, that's a great place to be. Soften your shoulder blades. And then as you inhale through your nose, expand your belly as if it was a balloon. And then open mouth, exhale, deflate. And you'll feel your hands press back to your spine one more time, just like that. Inhale in. And then open mouth, exhale. And you can flutter your eyes open.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love deep breaths, girl.
It's
Anytime.
important. It's important.
It
And sometimes we're on a trained platform, and you may not be able to close your eyes, but you can still be like, take a deep breath.
You can do it anywhere. It's accessible to us.
It's accessible. You can absolutely do it anywhere.
You can access it anywhere. I love that. So Shaina, this was an amazing conversation,
Oh,
and we definitely
good.
have to have more conversations.
No, I love to chat. I love to talk. So
and we cannot wait to see you at the expo.
thank you,
It's gonna
thank
be
you.
amazing, exciting. It's gonna be a week long.
So make sure y'all pull up. Make sure
Yes,
you come.
they definitely have to pull
and
up on it.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thinking about where it went from year 1 to year 5 and allowing yourself to evolve and to learn and to grow and develop a team, which we talked about
Yes.
beforehand.
Yes.
It's a big feat, so you should feel proud of yourself.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you. So where can the people find you?
Ooh. People can find me on social media. So on Instagram, my personal is Shaina.McGregor. My Inward Space Wellness Community. Oh, right? My inward space community is inward.space. I'm also on TikTok, Shaina McGregor, on all the places, and also my website, ShainaMcGregor.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Shaina.
Thank
This
you.
was an amazing
Thank
conversation.
you for having me.
Yes.
Yes.
And please do one, subscribe for sure. Two, do register for the upcoming Run Door Expo, because this is going to be literally the wellness events of the entire year.
Don't miss
I will
it.
say that. And the biggest one, I would say, so a week long in New York City, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be amazing organizations and brands that we're going to be working alongside. And we have so much amazing things in store, from like the panel lineup, which is insane, it's sick. It's going to be an amazing lineup. And just the activations, the types of conversations, the food, the energy. So it's going to be amazing, amazing time, I would say. And our tagline is a cultural reset for how we lead, work, create, and live. And that is exactly what we want people to feel when they leave out of this space. So do follow, do stay up to date with all the things that we have coming up, because there's a lot of great things in store. And follow us, and also follow me at Kadeisha Solange on all platforms. So you guys, we will see you back for our next Salon Talks series. Bye.
Bye.